About a year ago, when I was in the middle of working with my Swiss Vetterli project and doing a lot of work with people on this gun, I decided that I was going to make a series of videos and get into the historical background and a lot of detail about this particular Swiss Vetterli rifle system. Make some videos about Vetterli himself, and a little bit of background on the man who designed this gun, and historically how it's all tied in. So I started doing work on that with Vetterli, and because the Italians adopted a Vetterli rifle, this is also going to be included in the series, is this Vetterli Vitalli. Now Vitali is the man, Giuseppe Vitali, that designed the magazine. And so I did a little bit of work and explained how he fits into this all. And this is a Vetterli designed rifle that was modified later with the Vitalli magazine, so it brings another person in. Also, with these, at the time I was doing it, I did not have an actual 1870 single shot version of this. I do now. So now that I waited, I can tie that in and cover another feature of this rifle system and his history of it. And that brings us to our third gun, and how it ties together is with Giuseppe Vitali. It's the Dutch Beaumont. And the Dutch Beaumont has a Vitali magazine installed. So that connects those two rifles. And one thing that also connects them is the reason why all the European powers were modifying their guns, brings us in to the Russian, Turkish, or Ottoman Empire War, I think, of 1877. This is a very important historical event, and I will go over that in detail in the one battle that the outcome of it changed the whole military mindset of the time period and changed everybody in Europe's impression of single shot guns as compared to repeating firearms. So it was kind of a big deal, affected a lot of things, but these two guns here is what made that change. And two of them, the two of them are Vetterli's. The Beaumont itself is another separate design, okay? But what ties it into the two Vetterli rifles is the Vitali magazine, so that's where the connection there is. But I figured it'd be nice to kind of throw them in, all from the same time period, all affected by the same event, and cover these three guns in detail. Now, I have done some work on them in the past, not so much with the Italian Vetterlis, but I have made videos with the Swiss Vetterli, and I have made some on the Beaumont. So now I'm going to try to consolidate it and go over some things. And how this series works is I made videos about Vetterli himself. I made a video about Giuseppe Vitali and his story and how he's tied into this. What I didn't do, or had to do recently, is how the two men and their designs are caught up with the, call it the Russo-Ottoman War of 1877, how that plays a factor in all of this, along with the Beaumont. I didn't know had an interesting background story until I found a website in the Netherlands that talks about historically arms manufacturing of the Netherlands, and the fact that most of the arms manufacturing locations were, until 1830, Belgium was part of the Netherlands until it broke away and made itself its own country. So they lost their ability to manufacture arms when that segment of the country was no longer there. So it's pretty interesting, and it's a pretty interesting story about Beaumont and a little bit of intrigue about who really invented or designed the gun. So that's kind of good. So now I've covered those historic factors, and where I intend to go is more or less, I'm not going to do so much a history on the Swiss guns, but I will show you pointers on how to take them apart and what to check to get them to function if you intend to go out and shoot them. Because a lot of them will have stiff actions and problems working, and it's basically a matter of cleaning the gun and inspecting it to get it rolling right. Same with the Italian Vetterlis, what to kind of look at, and I will cover those Vetterlis from the 1870, the 1870-87, and the 1870-87-15, which is that gun modified for the 6.5 Carcano, and how you can go out and safely shoot that later model, that conversion, which you can do, okay? So we'll cover that. Then of course, Dutch Beaumont. I've fired them a few times with some loads I got from somebody and some other stuff, but I had to go back. I did an attempt a few months ago to try it again. Didn't like the results. Ended up doing more research, going to go with a custom bullet from a custom bullet mold, and I think I'm going to get it to where I'll get these guns out and shooting them. And I'll go over what to check, how to disassemble the Beaumont properly, because a lot of them get damaged from improper disassembly, okay, and how to do that. So I'm going to do all of that in the series. Now, with the Carcano madness and that, I'm still working with a lot of people on different things, so I have other things going on which kind of interrupt when I start doing this. Plus, if I don't just go off on a tangent on my own and start working on some other stuff that isn't relevant to this. So I have a series of videos made, and unlike the Carcano series where I gave one a number from like 1 to 20, I'm not going to do that. What I will do is this is going to go up, and I'll probably premiere it. And then once I premiere this, I will tie in a segment of other videos, and what I'll do is use the cards. So say the video is 15 minutes long, or say 20 minutes long, and I can put 5 cards in. Every 5 minutes I'll put a card, and if you follow the card, it will lead you to a video in the series that's relevant to this. And that's the best I can do. I don't really know how to let you know how to watch it progressively, because there's a lot of things going to be tied in and a lot of things to do. The best thing to do is subscribe to my channel and get the email alerts, and just whatever video comes up, start to watch it. If it's something you're interested in, great, then you'll be right along with us. If it's not, then just stop watching it, okay? You know, but that's what I intend to do. And like I said, I had to go and review these things. I made them over a year ago, make sure, get my train of thought straightened out. But that's what I think I'll be working on for the time being. I mean, with the crisis and all the wild stuff going on, I've been busy and just every day going on. I'm trying to get into something a little bit different to kind of get away from the ammo crisis and the buying, panicking and stuff. Plus, there was an awful lot of interest in the Carcano rifle series and my work with the Carcano. I still have some things to do, the screw problem. I'm still working on that. I just ran into a snag and I had to do a few things, and maybe later on this week I'll get into it and see if I could come up with a solution for all of you that are looking for that foolish little screw that goes in the front band on all of these guns. I may be able to come up with some sort of a part or solution for you there, or something you could work with to make it work for you. So that's basically what I'm doing. So I want to get into this because I like these guns. I like shooting these guns. They're fun. They're not they're not that rare, but like with everything, the more interest there is in them, the price starts going up. You know, once they become popular with people and they see things or see a way that you can go out and get ammo and shoot them, they become more popular, and then that just starts driving the price up. But that's the long and short of it. But that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get this up, and like I said, watch for the cards. The cards will lead you to the other videos, and we're going to do a progression. So we're going to do pretty much a historic look at the people behind this, and I will do a prep, so you guys, I'll show you guys how to check these guns out and make sure they're okay to go fire, and what to look out for. Also, follow along with that, and don't buy a bad example of one and try to fire it, because that's what I see a lot of people run into, is they get a real piss poor example. It's all hacked up with stuff missing and in bad shape, and oh, I want to fire it. Well, it's not quite safe, okay, and you run in a whole array of problems. So that's where we're going. This is my new introduction. I got to figure out titles so people can see them and will look for them that aren't subscribers. But I've got a pretty good enough subscriber base and enough people interested in these guns that know I work with them, to where I don't think that'll be a problem. So that's where we're up. Stay tuned. If you haven't already subscribed, if this is something you're interested in, subscribe, and that way you can keep track of what I work on as I go about it. All right? And I'd like to thank everybody for their support, their comments, their help with all my endeavors and that. There's a lot more activity with the channel here recently. As things are growing, I'm getting more subscribers. Things are going really good, very busy, and thank you, and stay tuned.